Beasley. Wake up,
And
buddy.
we're live. Happy Easter, guys. Welcome to Revolver Live, the gaming podcast that says forget the past. The future belongs to the nerds. I'm the Beastly Gamer. Today I'm joined by my Revolver brethren, Briar Rabbit. Let me tell you what happened. See, I'm messing with my new setup.
Yeah.
And so when I went to minimize the main screen, I wanted to see you point at me on my monitor, but all it showed was fucking Gary. And so I couldn't see you
Who
point.
was I fucking?
So you're always fucking. How you doing this week, man? I missed
Beasley,
you guys.
I can imagine that you're having some troubles with your setup right now because yesterday we actually set you up with OBS, right? We got you streaming. And
now
while
the
you were
whole world
streaming,
knows about this, Brian.
while you were streaming, I actually got a little peek that I'm willing to show the stream here. Let me put this up on stream of your desktop. Now, initially, for listeners of the show who can't see the video, I want to explain that there are basically icons all over this desktop. There's probably 2/3 of the desktop completely filled up. But on closer inspection, I think what's interesting about this picture is the amount of porn.
100%. 100%. I also have an image that Briar was clever enough to provide the rest of the crew. And we can zoom in here. And we can see all kinds of things. Looks like there's all kinds of hentai games.
Oh my god.
What do we got here? We got all kinds of Sakura.
Fucking Gary, that's
There's got to be at least 6 Sakura games on here. Galgun all over the place.
Can I just ask what your favorite is between Sakura Agent and Sakura Dungeon? If you had to pick.
I don't know. Now, screw you guys, because you guys didn't tell me you put all my shit on the internet. First of all. Secondly, I haven't played those fucking games. I just did a mass install, Gary, and so it put all this shit on my desktop. If you look now, it's all gone. I promise you. It's all gone. I should have did that before Briar started snooping and recording all my personal shit.
There's also a couple more things which I find quite concerning. I was talking to Wilson before the show. Is that an Adele album that you've torrented on the right-hand side there, Beasley?
Oh my.
Adele.
Piracy.
It does look like an Adele land. And then even more concerning, 4 icons under it. There looks like a black shield with a white clenched fist across it. Are you in a white power group without letting us know?
See, now all my personal shits. Look, they don't know I'm black because it's all done over the telephone.
Oh my god!
So when
the influence of Gary Diaz we knew was strong when you bought a PC, but we didn't know how strong it really was.
I also didn't know how strong that pirating on Sea of Thieves would make you start pirating the internet for music as well. You're not.
There is no Adele album. I don't have any Adele albums. I don't pirate music. Okay,
I see
there's no
Adele's
fucking
face there.
Adele. What do you see?
There's Adele's face definitely on your desktop.
It's certainly not. Is it a shortcut? What are you talking
Briar,
about?
do you see a black and white
It is
face?
right to
I
the
see
right
a
of the
black and white
Wolfenstein New
photo.
Order.
Hold on, let me look at Briar's stream.
It is right next
This
to
is
Wolfenstein New Order on the right-hand side.
I mean, look, hold on.
Just above the white power logo.
White power logo is right down here.
That's Marina Abramovic.
Mm.
She's a cultivist. What are you guys talking about? She's the woman who does the spirit cooking.
That's the
Golly.
Adele album, Beasley.
I didn't know you were going full balls to the wall. I'm going to show every fucking thing on Beasley's.
Well, in fairness, Beasley, I did actually snag this photo off of your stream. So it's not the first time this has
Just
been
so
shared
we know,
publicly.
This was a test stream, so I can get my fucking stream up and running. Briar, so he's going to test it. I'm going to test his ass out. How the hell you doing this week, Briar? Fucking private eye? Shit.
I'm doing pretty good, Beasley.
I'm sure you are now. It's Marina Abramovic. She looks nothing like Adele. She's 73 years old, so she must.
Why do you have a picture of her on your desktop?
It was from Twitter, and I'm putting together a video on the person who posted her. So, God damn you guys!
Why is she
my social
amongst
security
the
number
sea
too? Shit.
Pornography and nationalist propaganda.
Huh?
Again, I defend my actions by saying I did not actually originally post this. This was pulled from your public stream, which is still
God damn it,
accessible
Brian.
if you go to the Beastly Gamer 12 on Twitch.
I'm going to fucking come to Connecticut, Brian. I guess we don't have to ask how the rest of you fucks are doing today. Gary, how you doing this week?
I'm doing fantastic. It was a lot of fun now hearing that Beastly Gamer has entered the world of streaming, because I now have an additional Twitch chat to troll incessantly.
Yeah, came in there. You and Wilson came in there. My first time actually experiencing it. I was in the throes of learning mouse and keyboard, running through the world of Destiny, as Briar told me to spin, run, and jump and frolic so he could count my frames and see exactly what my stream was doing. But, as I looked over to the left, I saw Wilson coming in there and saying some derogatory things, and then Gary came, and it was all over. But I'm happy you guys came and show your support to fuck with me on my very first stream. It made me feel like part of the gang, I know this is what you do to people you love. Absolutely.
My pleasure.
Aside
You're
from
like that girl, Beastly, in 4th grade that I picked on incessantly because I loved her so much.
Punched her in the back of her head. Love you, bitch.
I didn't go that far.
I didn't donkey punch a 4th grader, but
Hey,
their
you're
own.
4th grade too, chick. Oh my
But aside from trolling your stream, I've been playing Far Cry 5. Still plowing on through that. I think
What are
14.
your thoughts on that, Gary? I know that we talked about this a little bit on Twitter, and it was a private conversation amongst friends. And now that we have the whole world here, just give me a quick one or two, sentences, or what are your thoughts on the game so far? Is it worth picking up? I heard a lot of good things about this game.
14 hours in, and I'm only 52% done on the story, according to whatever the tracking is that they use. But I've not been mainlining it. I've just been treating it as kind of like dumb, stupid fun. What I'll say about it is it's one of these. It's actually a precursor to one of our topics where I like the idea of it more than I like it. I think it's one of these games that, yeah,
I knew it.
Or heterosexuality. The actual the story itself, I think doesn't fit with the gameplay loop. I think the gameplay loop's great fun. I think the story's super interesting, but they're like kind of at loggerheads with each other all the time. What I will say is the Montana map that they use is basically Destiny 2's European Dead Zone done correctly.
Really?
And anyone that's played Far Cry 5 and played Destiny 2 will kind of see the similarity. And it's crazy to think that, that you can have a map that is that open and that interesting and that expansive with that much to do. Now
I know that in the past in Far Cry games you're able to brave the campaign with friends. Can you do that in this one as well?
Yeah, drop in co-op whenever you want. There's not really a campaign as such. It's just in the same way that like Assassin's Creed Origins, the latest one, had like, this is your main quest line that you're going down, so you go to this location and kick it off, but there's loads of other side quests you can just pick up and do. Very similar to that. It's a Ubisoft open world game. So yeah, I mean, if yourself or Briar or Wilson wanted to hop into my lobby, you could just hop into my map and help me progress through. You'd still earn XP and whatever, but
I'll hop into your lobby.
I look forward to
into
it.
the
My
lobby.
lobby will be wide open for you.
Sure it will. Mr. Wilson, my friend, how you doing this week? Now, we had a good time. Gary came and he hung out for about 10 minutes, but we went and played during Revolver Plays some Left 4 Dead 2, a game that I hadn't played until I've recently upgraded my PC. Briar, I know it's been a number of years since you played it. Gary, I think this is your first time playing it.
I went and looked, Beastly. That game came out, I believe, in 2009.
Wow. It's been around as long as Kate and I have been together. That's a long time. And you played it initially back then, right, Briar?
Yeah, on the Xbox 360.
And we played it on the PC. And you guys had some thoughts walking away from that experience as a group. What did you guys think? Did it stand the test of time?
We played it on PC. Gary played Shoot Wilson Simulator constantly.
Chode.
It was
Gary
fantastic.
Chode.
It was
And
glorious.
the stats don't lie at the end of
They
the
sure
campaign
don't.
when it tells you the exact number. It puts a figure next to your name as to how much teen damage you've done. My eyes have been opened wide to the threat that Gary Diaz poses more threat than zombies during the apocalypse.
You're damn right.
So
I didn't like your character's suit. You made me feel worthless. You were sitting there looking so like dapper and glorious, and I had like a sweater vest on. I didn't
my
really like it.
suit has blood and pit stains on it and questionable
Zombie
drug
dust.
residue.
Still a Miami Vice suit. I wanted it.
Well, let me guys paint a picture for you real quick before Wilson continues on. When we joined in, I thought we were going to, get in this thing and just go for it. These assholes immediately started shooting one another, and I'm like watching as this carnage ensues. And of course, Briar looks at me. It seems like his character smiled as he started just laying into me. And it ended up getting into a really bad spot where everyone was critically damaged. And Briar said, "Oh, well, fuck it." He got into an elevator, started shooting me, and I had to pull out a chainsaw and kill him in the elevator. And then I think Wilson got killed. I don't know if I killed you, Wilson, but Gary was the last guy left.
Yeah, no, you definitely chainsawed me because you stepped in front of me shooting Gary, to which you took offense to and instantly chainsawed me. I felt like Beastly was like an advanced alien showing up onto a less advanced world and giving them stuff and giving them cell phones and guns. And by the end of it, we were just like non-advanced chimpanzees taking dick pics and shooting bazookas at each other the entire time. Like, I felt like
that's how I felt, Wilson.
He was ready to go, and we were just ready to fuck off.
Yeah, I mean, literally from the moment the first cutscene happened, we were on like the top of a building. Briar turned around with his pistol and shot me. I was like,
it was a good move.
What's about to happen here?
I feel like I was just looking out for our community and taking out the weakest link. Trying to.
He saw you get bit. You can't hide it. He's doing you a favor. We all know how that ends if you get bit or scratched. So.
But all bullshit aside, that was some real good fun, man. By the end of it, we should
post that on YouTube or something.
I think we played for about 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours, and by the end of it, I loved Left 4 Dead 2 more probably than I did in its heyday, and I had a good time with my friend. To me, it's kind of the same draw that you get in Destiny. You're like kind of making your own story. You're out doing things, and if you drift too far away, you might get fucked. But it was a really good time, man. Other than that, I know you had a good time with us doing that, Wilson. How's your week been, my friend?
It was good, man. I've been going fast in Destiny 2. I've been enjoying the new update. It's not perfect. We'll get into that a little bit, but I am enjoying the direction that it's going, at least on console. I know PC players have a slightly different opinion about the whole thing, but other than that, man, just been doing some Fortnite. There's sniper only mode this week, and
the whole week?
For those who know me, know that I love to stare down a scope, and you get that satisfying headshot noise on someone, and it just hits every pleasure zone. So they have a sniper only mode, and it's pretty intense for sniper
I saw that
only.
shot you made. That was.
Did you post that publicly?
What's that?
Did you post that publicly? That thing you sent us in the.
I don't think I published it on YouTube. I just kind of put it on there because Discord wouldn't allow me something over 8 megabytes to like post it or something like that.
Put it on Twitter. You should show people that, because that sound, that sound of Wilson hitting a headshot is one of my favorite sounds of video game. It's just like this.
It was really good.
I turn into a little schoolgirl and my voice gets super high pitched, and it's a lot of fun. Gary Diaz had a whole nother take on that clip.
How else could that be interpreted?
Go ahead, Gary. Why don't you go ahead and tell him how you interpreted the headshot heard round Revolver?
Well, I think it should be retitled as The Betrayal of Sweet Dick Willie, because ultimately that's what it was. Briar and I decided that, and again, we'll get into this more in Destiny 2, but Briar kind of tapped me on the shoulder and said, "You know what? I'm feeling a bit frisky this weekend. I think I fancy Trials on PC for the first time in God knows how long." So Briar, myself, and 2 other people from the Warren got together, and we braved the matchmaking. I think there was about 4 other people queuing at the time, and proceeded to be literally stomped all over by some of the best players in the world for about 5-6 games straight before we found another team that we happened to do the same thing to. And then went back to just getting our shit pushed in until we gave up and played quick play. All the while, Wilson was giddy like a schoolgirl making snipes in Fortnite, watching our misery in the stream. And since then, he's been known as Wilson the Betrayer.
The Betrayer. He called him the Betrayer pre-show, and I was wondering why.
Has been on my fucking ass all week, and that's I feel like that trickled down into our Left 4 Dead play. Gary took it from real life to the video game world.
That's why he was so antagonistic. Wow, Gary. Wow. I'm just totally shocked. Well, for the people who are new to the show, and even for old fans who like to hear it, welcome to Revolver Live. Revolver Live is a gaming podcast with 6 revolving topics. You can be a part of the show by submitting your topics for consideration at revolvergamescast@gmail.com. That's revolvergamescast@gmail.com. We go live every Sunday at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/Briar Rabbit. The video is then shared on YouTube at Briar Rabbit's channel and my channel, The Beastly Gamer. If you're unable to see the live feed, that's us right now, or the video format, check us out in podcast form on Podbean, iTunes, or your favorite podcast service provider. With that, welcome to Revolver Live episode 35. Make sure you go over to iTunes and Podbean and leave those reviews because they really help our podcast. Thank you all so, so much. Gentlemen, what the hell are we doing this week? We got some topics?
We got our first topic, to no surprise, is the D2 Go Fast update.
Now, but before you start, Kate asked me earlier, I was playing on PC, and she noticed because I had my HDMI hooked up to the big screen. And, of course, it's a night and day kind of difference from PlayStation. Mm-hmm. And she said, is this the Go Fast update? And I was like, no. She said, well, I see the 144 hertz, 144 frames per second. It's going a lot faster. Is that what the update did? I said, no, it's really not. So for the people who don't really know, like my wife, could you please explain what the Go Fast update is?
Yeah, absolutely. So I could see how that could be misconstrued, or how, she would see that, because it already looks fast on PC. You feel faster. I would make the argument that you were already faster on PC.
Much faster.
The maneuverability, I don't know if it's mouse and keyboard, field of view, all that stuff, but it feels great. So across the board on console and PC, people's jump abilities make you go faster, jump higher, that sort of thing. Not your sprint speed overall, just your walk speed, strafe speed. They buff some guns. You get your super a lot faster. Your ability is a lot faster. There's power ammo freaking everywhere now, which we can get into that a little bit later. But ultimately, you're able to get in and out of positions much quicker, which artificially increase the time to kill, so to speak. Like, it's not a true time to kill buff. Like, some weapons did get a damage
so
buff.
DPS isn't really affected. It's just
not by all weapons or whatever. It seems like they tried to dance around time to kill without fully going in on time to kill. But with that said, next month we have the exotic changes coming. And when you look at things like Vigilance Wing right now, which they're not going to buff any further, it is pretty damn meta right now, Vigilance Wing. You can 2-tap if you hit all your crits, just shoom, shoom. And then if you hit, which is really hard to do on console, not so hard on PC. But I'm hoping that with next month, we're going to get time to kill on exotics, thus making exotics feel more exotic, because they previewed the Sturm and Drang, which are a hand cannon sidearm combo that'll be kind of working in symbiosis to make the Sturm 2-tap if you hit your crits, which is super satisfying. So I'm hoping that the exotics are really going to be dialed in on time to kill, thus making them more exotic and giving you a reason for taking that over a legendary. But it feels really good, man. I jumped into some trials. There's no radar. For survival mode, I'm actually really liking it right now. You can make moves and plays. You can flank, communicate really well with your team. And while you're flanking and they go to turn on you, the rest of your team that they were initially shooting at is now on the flank, collapsing. And if you're with a really good team and you know what you're doing, competitive feels really great right now.
Wow.
Feels really good.
Listen, going back to the buffing of exotics, I kind of find that to be an interesting theory, right? If all of a sudden they buff the exotics to be like the fastest like primary time to kills in the game, it would definitely up the usage of exotics, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like, you'd have a real decision to make. I love, let's say, the Dire Promise, a hand cannon that can kill in 4 shots. But now all of a sudden I have a decision to make. Do I want to do the Sturm, which has the potential to kill in 2 shots, which is a much faster time to kill? Of course, you've got to get a kill with the Drang to activate that. or do I want, like you have all these decisions, and then all of a sudden your exotic becomes kind of your primary weapon, the most powerful weapon in your arsenal.
Right.
Like I don't know, man. That would be pretty interesting if they kept legendaries the way they are, but buffed the exotics to be like very, very powerful. It reminds me of year 1 of Destiny 1, where you had very powerful exotics. It's interesting.
And the only reason why I say that is because Vigilance Wing right now has a crazy time to kill, even if you're just landing body shots with it. That thing is disgusting. And they previewed Sturm and with the Drang. And then I think it was Josh Hamrick that made that tweet about they were play testing Sunshot, and he got a triple down from the explosive perk from getting a kill on it. So it's like making me think that they're really dialing in these exotics to make them exotic and powerful. They had talked about doing something to Graviton Lance, making it like a two burst instead of a 3 burst, and making that projectile explosion like much bigger and stuff. So things like Colony and stuff are obviously not getting buffed because it's already fine on its own. But
for a person like me, I consider myself kind of a layman. I heard you guys say before the show that the people on PC aren't necessarily as enthusiastic about. Did the PC not get this update, or are they waiting on it, or what's?
No, they did. PC got the update, and like the point that I was kind of gonna drive home, not really the point, but like I wanted to really get Gary and Briar's opinion about the update on PC versus the update on console, because I know day 1 you guys had some kind of mixed emotions, whereas I've only played it on console. And a lot of this stuff really needed to happen because we felt so sluggish and slow with the controller already. So I feel like a lot of this stuff was really much needed on console. How do you guys feel about all this stuff on like the PC front?
Gary, you want to go first?
Yeah, I think we're probably actually quite different in our opinions, because I've been watching your streams as you evolve. So my take on it is, I feel like this is, in isolation, I think it is a step forward for the game, but I think we can't judge what it's doing for the game because we don't know the end game of what Bungie want Destiny 2 to be moving forward. I've played a lot of PC PvP since the trial stream, and I'm going to be honest with you, I've noticed little to no. I'm going to qualify this. I play Hunter, which didn't get much change, if any, to their movement. Strafe speed, a little bit quicker. But aside from that, no change. And what I've noticed is I'm still using Jack Queen King, Antiope or New City, and Legend of Acreus. So no change whatsoever in my loadout. All that I'm doing is maining the Legend of Acreus more because I'm winning more power ammo, and then I'm just using Acreus until I run out of ammo and using it again.
Do you think Acreus is a big problem right now?
No.
Really?
Yeah, I have no issue with Legend of Acreus whatsoever, because again, it relies upon me being able to get close to you to use it. And
not that close.
Yeah.
Well, close
somewhat.
enough.
Here's the thing, like with Acreus, I don't want to say that it needs a nerf in its performance. I like the performance of it. However, I think with as much as power ammo is available right now, it might need a little tweak to its ammo reserve in PvP because it is pretty annoying. And when I have a game where I sit down with Acreus and I say, okay, I'm going to use Acreus this whole match, it's really easy to pull off a 30 bomb, no problem. And maybe 4 of those kills might have been with primary or super. You know what I mean? And then go into another game and pick up another weapon, even if it's just a shotgun, maybe even a green one, that hand-in-hand shotgun, which is a really good shotgun. You know, I don't see myself racking up as many kills. I don't have a problem with the gun itself. I like it. I love it. You've seen me use it. You've heard me talk about it. It's a lot of fun. It gets those sniper squeals out of me that we were talking about sometimes. But I feel like that thing right now, like that and Colony, with the amount of rampancy of ammo and the kind of just like get in the vicinity of them and pull the trigger is kind of an issue right now. It's kind of putting a damper on the other power ammo weapons like snipers and rockets don't really seem to be a big issue because you only get one per ammo pickup. But from the feedback that I've been seeing a lot right now is that a lot of people are kind of annoyed with Acreus.
I think the problem with Acreus is such an outlier, right? It's like you were saying, like if it's such an advantage to use it over basically anything else. But I mean, it's hard to say. It's hard to adjust things right now because we know there's another adjustment coming.
Yeah.
Right around the corner.
Right. I'm hoping all the other exotics are brought up within that range to compete, so to speak. So you have a reason to not want to take Acreus with you. But
yeah, that's my take on it. I think I'm largely indifferent to the update, except I get to use my power ammo more. I didn't enjoy. I enjoyed playing Trials with the people I was with. I didn't enjoy the experience of Trials on PC, but I think watching people play on PS4, I think that is a player base issue because we were incredibly mismatched against the people we were playing. We are average at best players playing people that were arguably best in world players. These are guys that are in the tournaments playing, best in world players. And we were consistently matching against them. So I think that might have soured my experience of what Trials could be without a radar because we were just being absolutely collapsed upon every single spawn. So it was difficult to get a gauge on it. But yeah, Briar, you might have a different opinion on it.
Yeah, okay. So I initially agreed with you about the movement. It was funny when I first logged in and I logged in as a hunter. It's like I couldn't feel myself moving faster, but I could see that other people were moving faster. And I kind of said, it feels like people are harder to hit now. So watching Fallout Plays made a video where he actually explained what exactly happened in this update as far as movement speed goes, and your run speed doesn't actually improve. A few of the subclasses' jump speed did improve. Your walk speed increased, and your strafe speed increased. So it was very selective, like what actually got faster. So once I switched over to a Warlock, I started playing as a Dawnblade Warlock, and I was having a ton of fun because the Dawnblade really kind of got hit with the most buffs in this update that I could see, right? Is like their super got insanely fast. Like you can just rip across the map when you're on your super so fast that it's almost hard to keep track of where you're going. The jump speed got increased. I would never play a Warlock before this update unless I was using Blink. I just couldn't stand the jump. Now I find the jump very usable and kind of fun to use. So I really liked that things did get faster, but not like, crazy fast. What's concerning to me is that without adjusting the time to kill, they've kind of put a situation where for instance, if you have a Titan who is now on PC, you can actually Titan skate again. If you have a Titan in your lobby who's got an Acreus, you basically can't beat him. Like there's nothing you can do. He can be coming at you from across the map using the Titan skate, and primary weapons cannot at all take him down before he's on you and able to kill you with the Acreus. And that needs to be adjusted. With the increased speed, you have to change time to kill. Like that's just the facts, I think. I don't see another way around that. If perhaps we can get, exotics with faster time to kill in the next update, in the May update, then maybe we'll be okay. But, that kind of remains to be seen at this point. So we'll have to wait and see. As far as no radar goes in competitive, I really thought that was a lot of fun. Gary and I and our team came up against a group that was, players that were very fucking good, and it's just that's how PC is right now. Unfortunately, if you go into Rumble, you're likely to see a top 10% or a top 1% player in the world. You're likely to see him in a Rumble game.
Damn.
Yeah.
Because the population is so small that the players who are really dedicated and really good and good enough to be a top 1% player in the world, you have to play a lot. So they're on. Yeah. It's really, really difficult. So I did like the no radar thing. I found that I was actually surprised by how much I could actually hear going on in Destiny 2 around me. Like I could use some auditory clues. There were some times where a Titan or a Guardian came up completely silently behind me and shot me in the back of the head. But a lot more than I thought I was able to. I could hear people around corners or behind walls or coming up behind me. Like anytime they activated a jump or activated a special ability of any sort, you could basically hear them. What you couldn't hear is like footsteps, and I think that needs to be fixed in Destiny 2 if they're going to stick with the no radar thing. But I did have fun with the no radar thing. When we did come against teams that were of our skill ability, like I thought it was fun because you could really pull off flanks. You could really do things that were just kind of a pain in the ass to do with radar. For instance, we were talking yesterday, I think while we were waiting for Beastly to play Left 4 Dead, about the sniper meta in Destiny 1 and how my biggest problem with the sniper meta in Destiny 1 was that like you'd get a team that was just, aiming down sights of any possible location that you could be coming from. I feel like if there was no radar, you could actually flank that team much more effectively. And all of a sudden you could have, a meta in Destiny where people had snipers, but didn't necessarily have them aimed at your exact location, right? Because they didn't know your exact location. So, I'm not ready to put down a verdict on whether I like no radar or not, because it's still very early and I haven't played as much as I'd like to, but I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of different. I don't think it's the end all solution, but I think the way that Hove from Rezocast put it was it's a great foundation. And I know that gets really tiresome and really old hearing, oh, it's a step in the right direction, but this is one of the biggest steps they've taken in a while. So it's definitely piqued my interest as to what's to come next month. Hopefully we can start getting some of these updates a little sooner. I know that's what everyone's been saying for almost 4 years now, but yeah, it'd be great to get these updates sooner, but I'm happy with what we got, and it's definitely had me back in the Crucible more. I will say there were a few matches where there were some people, and I mean, like I took a couple weeks off there before the update, so I was feeling pretty rusty, but I will say I feel like the radar system kind of worked in my favor one game. I definitely felt like I was up against a team that I was outclassed by. So I kind of had to think on my toes, and I kind of had to be that guy that was flanking all the time. And I found myself being able to pull off flanks on teams that if there was radar, I mean, that whole team would have jumped down my throat with team shots for days, and I wouldn't even have got around the corner, So it can definitely play into your favor. For sure. It's a different, like I said, it's a different experience. And to be honest, I'd like to see them roll back the radar just a tad in quick play, like not so drastic. I know it's just quick play or whatever, but that's where a lot of people spend their time. Like I wouldn't necessarily recommend solo queuing in competitive right now.
No.
So you're probably going to solo queue in quick play, and you're not going to get used to the competitive feeling when you have a radar that extends for half the map in every direction, So I kind of feel like if they dialed it back just a tad, that'd be dope.
I mean, I'm kind of at an impasse with Destiny 2 at the moment where it's kind of like a catch-22 for me, and I don't know what Bungie can do to resolve my personal issue with it, and that's that I really don't enjoy the game on console. I don't enjoy the feel of it, and maybe this Go Fast update has changed that, but even with a Zim, I don't find it satisfying to play. I don't like the way that the movement works. I don't like the hit registration. I don't like the frame rate. But there's nothing about the game that I enjoy on console. PC, I absolutely love. I really enjoy the way the game plays. It's one of the most satisfying shooters that I've played. It's fantastic. The issue that we've got is population. So I can either play on a version that I don't enjoy and have a population, or play where I enjoy and have no one to play against. And I mean, it's just, I throw the stats up every week. But at present, if we look at PC versus console, there's 50,000, give or take, players that have been in trials this week so far. 3,500 of them have been on PC. And what makes that even worse is that PC is split between EU and US servers. So that 3,500 is going to be cut again somewhere down the middle. So you're probably looking at 1,700 or 2,000, 1,000 there. I don't know. I don't know where you guys stand on it, but for me, I want to play Destiny, but I want to play it on the platform that I'm there. What's going to bring PC players back? You know,
Well,
because
I
I was
mean,
going to
Gary,
ask you.
Gary, I bought Destiny 2 on PC last night, and on Twitter, you kind of alluded to the fact that I made a mistake. I mean, that's at least how I felt. But that was like one more for the PC elitist, for the people on your platform. And when I bought it, I didn't know if you were joking or not, but you still hadn't really kind of clarified.
In fairness, Beasley, if you're playing PvE, there's plenty of population there. If you're playing quick play, there's plenty of population there. You might see the same players in your lobby over and over again, but I mean, there's enough population to actually, play the game and have a good time. The real player population problem doesn't come in until you get into the competitive game modes. That's when you start having the small player population, kind of, really bite you in the ass. Trials is just harsh.
Got you.
It's crazy hard. But if you're out there and you want to do a raid, if you want to do nightfalls, like, you're not gonna have any problem. It's fine.
I think one thing that would help, and this isn't an end-all solution at all, this is actually probably very minimal, that would help bring some people over, would be some form of whatever I do on console translates over to PC. I don't even care if that's even my milestones at this point. Like, I don't want to feel like I have to work towards all the same masterworks again. I don't want to feel like I have to have the perfect armor set now. And it'd be really cool if people from console who have been curious about PC but don't want to invest 6 months worth of time into a character,
import their character or their gameplay. That would be awesome.
That's not going to be huge,
it's
though.
unforgivable, in my opinion, because all your whole account is stored on Bungie servers. So why can't they just have one Destiny account that, no matter what console you plug into,
that would be awesome.
You can just have that account. I mean, yeah, there's PlayStation exclusive gear, but just make that inaccessible when you're on Xbox or PC.
And this isn't an issue that was there at the launch, because I mean, if we look at week 1 of trials for comparison purposes in terms of what we had, there were 161,000 PC players on week 1 of trials.
What?
So you've gone from, it's not a case that no one bought the game on PC. That was more players than played on Xbox, played on PC the first week of trials. So there is a huge population that have already laid out money to buy your game. It's just, how do we bring them back? Because they obviously didn't like what they saw, because within 4 weeks they were gone.
I don't know if you can get a lot of them back, because the PC community, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but like, I feel like they're so jaded when it comes to giving someone a second chance. And that's not a bad thing, because PC players, console players got No Man's Sky. You think that was bad? Imagine getting 4 of those a year. Like, PC players have to deal with a lot of shitty, unfinished games that they've bought into. And I kind of feel like when you buy into a game that way after so long and you don't get what you want out of it, like, you just move on, especially in the PC world. But
what do Ubisoft do right then? Because Ubisoft are a company that have had arguably the most publicized failures that have been turned around into successes. Because I think, like, almost every Ubi franchise now, people could look around and say, no, there is a core community that are playing and enjoying the game, and the game is in a good state. So what could Bungie learn from Ubisoft then? Because PC players are giving them a second chance.
The first thing would be to listen to the community and make the changes that they request. I think that's what Ubisoft is doing so well, right? With the Division, they delayed DLC to make sure they got it right, to make sure it would please players. With Rainbow Six Siege, they did the same things. They actually just they look at what the players are saying, and they make the changes based on the community and what the community wants, trying to please the community, and they support the shit out of the game. And a lot of that shit happens for free, which sometimes that happens with Destiny, but we're about to hit 2 milestones with Destiny that could improve the game that are going to cost money. Right, we're about to get the spring DLC, the May DLC, which, unless you bought like a super special, season pass edition of Destiny 2, you're gonna have to pay for it. And then in September, when most people actually think we're gonna see some real improvements to Destiny 2, everybody's gonna have to pay for that one.
Do you think they're gonna charge for because like the sandbox updates with like exotic balancing and stuff like that, you'll get whether you paid for it or not. So like
True
at
enough.
least,
But
at
imagine
least,
this, Wilson. Imagine you get that free update, but there are now queues for players that you have the DLC and you can access the new maps, and you don't have the DLC, you can't access the new maps.
Or
on PC, that's going to be a real fucking problem.
Yeah. Or there's that
it's
new
already there.
bugged
It is
lens
already there.
That new what was it? The lens of Prometheus lens. You know what I mean? But you know, granted, they did give that to everyone, whether you had the expansion or not. But like, I see what you're saying. Like, if you want to be included, you know, in everything, new activities, so forth, new things to do. I don't know, man. Like, what they could do to get people back on PC, like that's a tough question, Gary. I really don't know, man. I think that I personally think that there's something to do with their contract, and they have to put out 4 titles in 10 years. So I don't know if they have the amount of people that they need to work on these updates when they've got everyone working on future game releases. Like, we don't even know if that's the case. Like, some transparency in that matter would be really cool.
Yeah,
so people could curb their expectations a little more when it comes to these things.
I have a question that might diverge slightly into something else, but what do you guys think it is? What is the defining characteristic in PC players and console players that is, well, at least on the console side, as you guys have stated, people are kind of clinging on to Destiny 2. People are still playing it. They're still enjoying it. They're still, you know, going into trials. They're still doing competitive play. But the PC, like 99% of the PC audience stepped away. It seems like you have to be on 2 different planets for that type of disparity to happen.
There's a bunch of factors, I think, BC. One is, you know, PC players are used to, you know, having shooters that have dedicated servers, you know, in a higher, you know, kind of a higher service rate, right? It's like, you know, much faster polling rates for your, you know, hit scan weapons and stuff.
That's
like
why you made that joke when we were playing Left 4 Dead 2. You said this thing has dedicated servers, and then you're like, wait, what the hell's going on, Destiny? So okay, they have higher expectations.
No dedicated server. That's one of it, right? One of the things. Console also had a community of players who were already addicted to Destiny, right? So, you know, those players, you had a built-in player base that had played Destiny for 3 years and were used to these issues and were used to. They weren't happy about it. Don't get me wrong, but you know, you had a built-in player base. Whereas with Destiny 2, you had a brand new player base who weren't used to, you know, the trials and the perils of being a Destiny player.
Trials, yeah, absolutely right. Yeah,
I think there's a lot of factors, and there's probably more factors than I even know about.
And also, I'd say Destiny 2 is, I think if Destiny 1 had released on PC, you'd have had a far greater chance of catching a PC audience. The type of game that it is, especially where it is as well alongside the Blizzard or Battle.net launcher, with games that are exceptional examples, best in class of each of those different genres of games. And you've got a game that I love. Destiny 2, I said it on PC, but that's a straight 7 out of 10 game. You know, it's good. It's not great.
Agreed.
It's a good game. You've got something that has no long tail grind, and PC players they want a game that they can hop onto. And again, I'm generalizing here, but the nature of the way that PC players play a game is that they immerse themselves into it. They'll play it for a long period of time. There is that kind of addictive personality to the way that they consume the games. Destiny 2 just isn't there. So I think, like you say, Briar, it's a facilities and services thing, and also the content of the game. It was kind of like a mile wide, an inch deep. You know, there was lots and lots of things to do there, and nothing to do in them. And I think they bounced off them quickly. I mean, if you load up the Battle.net launcher, you've got World of Warcraft, Overwatch, Diablo, Heroes of the Storm, Hearthstone, and then Destiny, the sort of ginger-haired stepchild that kind of like, you know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't really fit in amongst, I wouldn't put Destiny 2 in that category of game. And I just don't think it's helped by being there.
Wow.
It could be. Don't get me wrong.
I appreciate your
be.
honesty, man. You know, that's some harsh honesty there. Well, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, you think about the future and what Bungie could do to bring the PC audience back, and unless they basically change their whole, you know, the whole system of the way Destiny works and give it some real meat and some longevity, PC players will probably stay away from it, just based on what you guys have said in the last few moments. All right.
They made a fundamental decision when they developed Destiny to make it more accessible to casual players and to make it more satisfying for casual players. And I think that ultimately is still the decision that is fucking Destiny up. And I think they're going to try and fix that in the years to come. And, I think this DLC will go a little ways to solve that. And the September DLC will go a little ways to solve that. But that ultimately, I believe that decision was just about the worst decision they could have made. I think it was just a poor decision.
Wow.
Well,
let's talk about something else. But before we do,
go ahead.
Let's talk a little bit about our sponsor, On Air PC. We wanted to thank On Air PC for sponsoring the show once again this week. Beasley, you've been very happy with your On Air PC since getting it. I mean, it's basically all you talk about. I think that the way you're defiling its desktop is basically, I want to say, disrespectful to our sponsor. And I think maybe you owe them a personal apology. But I'll let them be let them be the judge.
I have
of
two
that.
desktops, okay? So one has nothing on it. So, I keep my On Air PC stuff clean. But yeah, Briar, I've been enjoying it. As a person who was never really a PC player, I thought I was going to be able to join the master race a few years ago when I got my little laptop. But now I feel like I'm playing with power, old school Nintendo style now.
I like it.
I'm so serious, man. I look over there. I love my PlayStation. It's my heart. It really is. Like some people hold on to Sega and Dreamcast. PlayStation is my heart. But I feel like now if there's a multiplayer, Kate and I are already planning hers. She comes over here and sits down and plays this thing. It's amazing. And I know a lot of you guys out there watching and listening have already experienced this. But for me, the power of a 1060 just kind of knocked my socks off. And it's so beautiful the way that Ryan and On Air PC put it together. It's all encompassing, all inclusive. I feel like this is a cruise or a vacation where it's all inclusive. Everything was.
What I like about it, Beasley, is that you were able to call him and speak to him and get personalized advice. You weren't like clicking buttons on a website, not knowing what you were ordering. You were talking to him and having a conversation about.
Well, it goes beyond that, Briar. I told you guys pre-show that I had a conversation with Ryan earlier this week. He gave me a follow-up call to ask me how everything was going with it, if I had any questions about it, if it was adequate for my needs, if I needed anything else. And he talked to me about some of the specs that are on this thing, my graphics card, what the graphics card in my laptop can do. He just gave me a lot of information, and it really opened my eyes up to a lot of things. And like I said to you guys when I first ordered it before it came, and I'm not, bowing down, sucking On Air PC's Johnson, because I would never do that. But the customer service and...
not even for a 1080 Ti?
They're about to announce a new series of cards.
You don't say, babe, bring me the car, man.
All some chapstick on the way.
All joking aside, this has been an awesome ride. And beyond On Air PC, thank you to you guys. Briar, for you hooking me up with that information. Gary, for you going through all the specs with me. Gary's the guy. When I first started talking about it, he said, oh, Beasley, now my dick's hard. I need to really talk to you about this and find out exactly what
I do believe that's a quote, too. That's verbatim.
Yes. It's been a really hell of an experience. I'm very happy about it. And I don't think I could ever go back at this point. I've been playing PC, mouse, keyboard all day long. I love it. And On Air PC is awesome. If you guys are looking to get yourself a computer that's reliable, dependable, and can do exactly what you need, check out the link in the description and give Ryan a call because it's a great place to go if you want power.
It's a family-run business. He's got personalized service. He'll build a PC at a fair price.
Yeah.
I was talking with him this week about setting up, getting priced out a computer that doesn't have a GPU. So AMD recently released a series of APUs, which are basically CPUs with GPUs built on. And they're much more affordable, and they'll play games at 1080p great, and they offer a great upgradability path. So at the price of getting like a console, you can get into the world of PC gaming, and you can start, checking out some of these games on Steam or
those are the Ryzen's, right?
That stuff. Yeah, it's the Ryzen 20-something hundred series, and once you get into that, like at an affordable cost, you can buy a PC with this kit, and then you can upgrade it in the future. When you get a tax return or, maybe you get a little extra money and you want some better graphics. It's a much more modular thing than having a console, which basically, if they release a new console, you got to buy the whole thing. Whereas a PC, you can upgrade over time. I really really thought that was an interesting way of doing a brand new PC is get an APU and then upgrade it over time. I thought that was interesting. So yeah, definitely contact On Air PC if you're looking to build a new PC. And there'll be links in the description of the video and podcast if you want to get a hold of them.
And if you do, you can get some Revolver Live swag.
That's
courtesy of Beastly Gamer over here. That's right. I had coffee out of mine this morning. Tastes 10 times better with the Revolver logo on it.
It's more like dicks anyway.
Yeah, the whole time I'm sitting here drinking my coffee thinking, what's Gary up to? And then I realized that he fucking hates me this week. So I don't really care.
Have you noticed that he's had that scowl on his face for most of the show? You really are the betrayer in his mind. It doesn't seem like he's willing to let that go.
I think he's still
Trials was rough, man. Trials was rough.
I think he's still just a little butthurt about that pink 3DS. Yeah, I went there.
You're just rubbing salt in the wounds, Wilson. You don't want to be the betrayer for an extra couple of weeks. Let's just forget about the 3DS.
I got the Atlanta Anaconda on my side of the ocean.
You got a good point. The Anaconda reaches far. It's a lot of water, Gary. I'd have your back too, but it's a lot of water.
I thought this was an interesting topic, Wilson, that you brought to the table, the Nvidia GeForce Partner Program. Can you talk a little bit about this?
We can. So speaking of PCs and all these awesome graphics cards, we'll talk about the GeForce Partner Program, which is has a huge cloud of confusion surrounding it. So what is it? We'll try to figure that out to the best of our knowledge with what we've been given. So according to Nvidia, it is a program of incentives for AIB add-in board partners to sign up to give you additional benefits for working more closely with Nvidia. So the benefits may include prioritization of allocation of GPUs. So you could get on a list before GPUs come out and you could get first dibs essentially before everyone else. With the ever-growing demand of GPUs with cryptocurrency mining and all that good stuff, you would get dibs on graphics cards before everyone else, which is huge because the cryptocurrency market right now is snatching up GPUs left and right. So you'll also be included in launch days when they reveal their product. So when new cards get launched, you don't have to wait. You don't have that, month-ish delay where you could design your own custom card, with fans and ports and all these certain things. So NVIDIA wants you to believe in the GeForce brand, and to that end, the company introduced the GeForce Partner Program, the GPP, an initiative meant to bridge the gap between NVIDIA and its companies to make add-in cards or systems based on its tech. So the new program means that they'll basically be promoting their the GPP program across the web, social media, and at events like tech events where they're showing off all the newest and latest tech. They say on their blog posts that partners are signing up really fast because people are starting to see these benefits that they could have from being a part of this program. Yet they haven't really announced any of those people. So they said that they were going to promote them on social media and Twitter and YouTube, all that stuff, and they haven't done any of that yet. So
how long has it been since they stated they would announce?
About a month. About a month.
A month-ish. So like, go ahead.
What's interesting about this program is that, obviously NVIDIA and AMD are in competition for video cards, right?
Yes.
NVIDIA does have new graphics cards coming out later this year, and I think that's when we'll actually see some of the benefits toward the add-in board partners who do pair with NVIDIA or take part in this program.
Right.
What NVIDIA is saying basically is that if you want to be part of this program, you participate by, if you have a gaming brand that you put NVIDIA graphics cards under. For instance, if I think Asus and Republic of Gamers is probably the best example, right? It's the most known example. If you have NVIDIA graphics cards that you brand under the Republic of Gamers, logo or brand, you cannot put our competitor's brand under that same brand. So you cannot have an AMD card sitting on the shelf next to an NVIDIA card branded the same with the Republic of Gamers logo. The same with MSI, like whatever company participates in this program. If you join this program, when we release new video cards, we'll share them early with you, or we'll share them earlier with you. and we'll help you advertise them. But if you don't, then you'll be kind of, on the secondary list. We won't do that with you. And I know the gamers are outraged by this, but I kind of see Nvidia's point here. Like, hey, we're advertising Nvidia graphics cards, and you guys are branding them the same as our competition. Here we are spending money, advertising our graphics card and advertising your graphics cards, but you're putting the same brand on our competition, and unless you are, unless you're like, somebody who actually knows this world and are, a fan of PC gaming, there's no difference, right? Somebody tells you, if Beasley comes to me and says, what graphics card should I buy? And I tell him, get the Asus ROG 1080 Ti. And he goes to the store and he remembers Asus ROG, and there's fucking 10 of them on the shelves, and half of them are Nvidia and half of them are AMD. What does he walk out that store with? I think that's what Nvidia's point is here.
Like, my question with the whole thing is that, like, is this like merely supposed to encourage companies to work more closely with Nvidia, or is this like a thinly veiled threat to anyone who doesn't want to work with them? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it could be either way. I don't know what prioritization Nvidia has put in the past, right? So that stuff is very unclear.
True.
But I can definitely see their point.
I mean, do you think Nvidia need to be this concerned with the competition? And I understand your point there around retaining market share, but without getting too businessy, I don't think Nvidia have competition, at least in enthusiast gamers. I mean, to me, it's always been that Nvidia is your premium chip or your premium GPU, and AMD tends to be your
secondary. Yeah,
it's more your affordable chip where you tend to get you get better value, but you sacrifice arguably compatibility across most PC games. I understand that there are certain engines that do operate better with an AMD chip, and you also know that you're never going to have the same absolute output that you will with the GeForce range, which year on year, generation on generation, have been stronger than the AMD chips. So why do you think they now, I mean, when they've had absolute mindshare in the PC market for probably 2.5, 3 years, why are they now concerned about their cards being confused with AMD cards?
I don't know if it's confusion per se. Business is about revenue, and it's about bringing in new customers. And if they can do that by, reaching out to industry that sells cards and saying, hey, look, we're going to offer you this amazing opportunity to get our cards early, day and date, and all these extras that come with this program, but you've got to follow these rules to push a particular brand to your customers, or at least put it in a particular place so people don't get confused and accidentally walk out with the wrong thing. I think at the end of the day, it comes down to business. And I think it's smart business, to be totally honest. Side note, I was going to get a Republic of Gamers laptop about 1.5 years ago. Thank God I didn't.
I don't actually think this is about the high end either. I think this is about the mid range, right? The guys who buy the high end are like the top 1%, right? Gary, it was a few weeks ago now that you did kind of that Steam survey of showing all the graphics cards that were used by players, and like having like top end stuff was like a small, tiny little percent. It was a majority of mid range graphics cards and even older graphics cards, right? The people that are going to be the most confused are the people who are either beginners, right? They don't necessarily are not familiar with the world of graphics cards. They don't necessarily know what to buy. Maybe they're people who are buying gifts. They're people who are buying maybe, the people like us on this call are not going to be confused, right? We know exactly when we walk into the store or go to Amazon exactly what we're looking for. If Vega comes out with a brand new, or AMD comes out with a brand new top of the line graphics card, we might look at it. If they're coming out with a mid range one, me and Gary aren't going to be looking at it at all. There's just no fucking way.
Well, I mean, even on the Steam charts, it was still the 1060 was the most popular card by Steam users. So even in the mid range, it feels like the 10 series GeForce has just
part
been
of that though, Gary, is
knockout.
based on the current state of cryptocurrencies, right? Is that AMD's cards are better than Nvidia cards at mining for cryptocurrency. So they have good cards out there. They have the Vega 56 and the Vega 64, and they have the I can't remember what their lower end is called. The 580, 570, 560. Sorry, I just forgot the name of them. But I had a 480 in my computer. That it's really good. I still use it, actually. It's a really good card, and it's a couple of years old now. Like at that range right now, there's no competition because they're all being bought by cryptocurrency miners. Yeah. You can't find them in the store anyway. If these things were actually, cryptocurrency mining is, slowing down a little bit. We do expect new graphics cards from both companies this year. This fight may be on again this year. So I see Nvidia maybe prepping for this fight.
What do you think this impacts the
Good
most?
point.
Consumer, Nvidia, or mom and pop type stores like
AMD.
your local piece of AMD, but like you don't think that, like, hear me out, what if AMD follows up with their partnership program and then now like actual brick and mortar stores are forced to decide what they want to carry? You know what I mean? Like, and then now you have the AMD guy and then you have the Nvidia guy in town. People aren't going to be able to. And I know brick and mortar is a very small percentage of their sales.
Very small.
But I love my computer store in the next town over, to where if I'm dicking around with something in my computer and I need a part today, that I can call him.
This isn't aimed at the brick and mortar stores, though. This is aimed at the partners.
It's not aimed at directly
Asus,
aimed at them.
MSI, Gigabyte, like those guys.
So this doesn't affect brick and mortar stores about what they can carry.
The difference that brick and mortar stores are going to see is that when they get video cards from AMD, they're not going to have the same branding that the Nvidia.
I have ROG MSI on them. Yeah.
Cool. I wanted to clear that confusion.
I see this more as posturing than anything else and getting the GeForce name out there. Because to be completely honest, if Asus ROG really wanted to go this way, they could just have Asus ROG Red and Asus ROG Green, and those are the two brands. They wouldn't need to worry about anything else. Just create sub brands. They're not going to lose the Republic of Gamers branding or give up the AMD market share just to hold Nvidia. It's not going to happen. I just see, like you say, this is Nvidia asserting their dominance in terms of the marketplace position and just saying, look, we are going to squeeze, like you say, the third-party rebrands, the gaming brands on the market, and try to get them affiliated. So in the mind share of gamers, gaming brand is associated with Nvidia. And I think that's what it is. But I don't see it actually having much tangible effect, if anything. If I was in control, I'd just make a sub-brand for GeForce, and that's it, whatever it is.
Right. What's going to happen is, in the future, you're not going to see AMD cards with the Republic of Gamers brand on it. It'll just be... it'll be a different brand. It'll still be Asus. It'll still be a partner card, but it won't have that Republic of Gamers brand on it anymore. It'll have some other name on it.
Interesting.
It was a very interesting topic.
Time will tell. I mean, it's going to be unfolding soon, and like Briar said, we're expecting both companies to release new GPUs this year, so we'll see how it unfolds. It's going to be an
interesting year for PC overall. I mean, Ryzen 2 comes out next month, or this month. It's April. This month, Ryzen 2 comes out. We're going to get new graphics cards, definitely from Nvidia. We're going to get new processors, probably from Intel. It'll be an interesting year for PCs.
I think Hashiwaki made a really good point as well, which I completely missed in chat. And that's that AMD has the console market as well, which we can't forget. Whilst Nvidia has the absolute lion's share in the PC market, AMD are no slouch there. They've made no headway. Nvidia's made no headway in the console markets, and unless we see radical architectural changes on the PS5 and Xbox 2,
there's a rumor too that Microsoft is trying to. This is a rumor, so grain of salt here. That Microsoft is actually trying to lock down the AMD Vega to be only used in the next Xbox.
But that's an APU, isn't it?
No.
Well, it's included in the APU, but the Vega Vega is a graphics card technology, so they've included a version of it in the APUs, but it's also used in the high end
because
GPUs.
it's much cheaper than like the GPU, and it does pretty much what you could do just by getting a GPU.
The Vega
alone from
technology is included in the APUs from AMD, but it also used in their high-end GPUs.
Wow. Okay. Do you guys
a lot
think
of techno babble.
these APUs, you know, I was watching Digital Foundry on them. Do you guys think that's more of the future that we're going to see?
No,
No?
It's for low end only and for consoles only.
There's a lot of people in the graphics card and the GPU industry think that graphics cards are going to get so powerful within the next couple of years that processors will be lagging behind. That's what a lot of people believe.
Did you guys see the demo of ray tracing that Nvidia put up during during the
CES?
No, it's not CES. The
most recent tech show. What was that?
What's the Andy Serkis thing are you talking about?
No, there was a tech.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy, Gary.
It's
that
the
facial
tech show
recognition.
that just is happening. It's not a tech show. It's like for all the developers. GDC.
Yeah.
GDC. So if you haven't seen this video, you have to check it out because it's absolutely stunning. It's Nvidia showing off what graphics could look like with ray tracing. So ray tracing is really processor intensive. It's really GPU intensive. Their next round of GPUs are really going to support this technology, and if games start taking advantage of it, the realism that can be shown from this is outstanding. It's well worth your time to check this video out. It is absolutely mind-blowing how good this looks, and this is the future. I mean, that's what's coming. It's gonna take a while to get
I'm
there.
watching it right now.
You guys are watching it right now, right? It's like really impressive. I mean, the way light casts around. I mean, the models. Yeah. What's happening in that video too is that the models being used are models that you would see, like polygonal models that you would see in video games now. The difference that you're seeing is the way light is being rendered using ray tracing instead of, you know, basically like filter effects and stuff like that. It makes the realism just pop. You know, it's outstanding how good it looks. So that's what we can look forward to. But it's going to take a while to get there.
So that's your homework for everyone who watches Revolver. Get on the ray tracing videos.
Yeah, it really is good.
That's phenomenal.
What's the next topic?
This sounds fun. I don't know whose topic it is, but it's gaming as senior citizens. So go. Whose topic is this?
We've just skipped over one.
Yeah,
do you want to go with gaming?
Oh, okay.
Do you want to go the one above it? The first one that we were going for.
Yeah.
Before we become senior citizens gaming, which I feel like already after an hour of the show, is what games, movies, or shows have you liked the concept of more than the actual thing itself, or the idea of more than the thing itself? So this is something that came to me this week when I was pondering topics. There's things sometimes that I hear about and I think that sounds fucking awesome, and then I play it or I watch it or I hear about it and I'm like, I kind of liked how it was pitched to me more than the actual thing itself. So my question is, have you had them and has it made you more or less forgiving about the property itself? So some examples for me in the gaming space: Assassin's Creed. So like Assassin's Creed Origins, and before that other Assassin's Creeds, things like the Syndicate one, the one in France. I saw the trailers for and I was like, that sounds amazing, like an underground society of assassins that move in the shadows and do this. Played it, I was just going from checkpoint to checkpoint, just pressing X and killing it. I was like, oh, this is shit. So it kind of put me off. Shadow of the Colossus recently, again, so hyped for that. I heard it was like best game of all time. You know my opinions on that. I was really bored. I played it through and was like, this isn't fun. Metal Gear Solid, I had the same thing. Couldn't get into it. I heard Solid Snake was a badass. Portal, everyone's like, oh, Portal's amazing. Portal 2 so good. I found myself bored, senseless playing.
You're objectively wrong about Portal.
Probably am.
You're dead inside.
And
the last
Shadow
one,
of the Colossus.
The Last of Us. The Last of Us. I wish I'd saved myself a hell of a lot of heartache and just watch the YouTube version of it where it's all the cutscenes together.
You guys tell him about himself in the comments.
Before I go into movies, I'll let you guys share your views about games before we go into the movies.
As soon as I read this topic, Gary, I thought of one game or one property, because it was more than just a game, was Defiance. This was launched as a TV show and a game, And every week when the TV show came out, the game would kind of reflect those changes. And what it ended up being was a below average TV show and I think a below average game, right? And it just didn't catch on. I think that the game actually garnered some kind of popularity, but the TV show I don't think ever did. And it seemed like such a great idea, and it just didn't work out.
As a fan of Defiance, I think you need to take that back.
They're trying again. They got Defiance 2050 coming out soon,
which we've signed up for. So I will see you there on the front line, subscribed. What about Destiny? Do you think that's one?
Destiny 2, I think is.
Yeah, I mean, we'd be lying if we said we all were a little disappointed with that, with the way that it's
the difference
going.
between Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 is that Destiny 1 was like, I didn't really know what I was to expect when I bought it. I just jumped in, and it was just this brave new world, all sorts of cool ideas, and like playing Sea of Thieves now, I'm like, oh man, like I'd love you to do this, I'd love you to do that, I'd love you to do this. With Destiny 2, it's like, well, you didn't even do the shit you were doing last time.
A little creature from Defiance here for you as well. Look at that. Thought I'd put him down there.
For me,
oh sorry, Beasley.
For me, I would say, even though I bought it again, I bought it just to be with you guys because I'm a team guy, Gary. I like to be with my people. Destiny 2 kind of let me down, but I feel like I got my money's worth. It's just the end game and just the continuation and the joy that I felt after the first 2 months just dissipated incredibly fast. That's probably one of the more modern examples, but going back a couple of years, The Order 1886 was a game that the idea of being back in the 1800s and you're technologically advanced for the time, fighting against werewolves and other monsters and beings, and I thought that the idea was amazing. I thought that they were going to go in a different direction, and I thought it was going to be a story steeped in lore and character development, and all you got was just a game that was graphically incredible with nothing. It was a hollow, empty shell. And I just thought that all the possibilities of that game, what it could have turned into, the kind of franchise it could have become, and for them to allow that to happen was really, a big misstep. In another game, which I mentioned before on another topic, was Resident Evil 6. What the hell is he laughing at?
Chat. Pornhub Premium. That was disappointing.
Was disappointing? We feel your pain, Coffee. We feel your pain.
Who'd have thought all those videos are out there for free anyway?
I know. I signed up for a Russian Bride. I'm still waiting, but my credit card's been maxed out. That's it.
Who'd have thought that you could just actually search the name of that video and just find it posted elsewhere?
Yeah.
Pro tip.
Willie, what you got in the way of games? You got anything that you've liked the idea of more than the game itself?
Games? Man, I hate to beat this dead horse, but No Man's Sky was a huge disappointment for me, and it wasn't necessarily the way that it was sold to me. I'm not going to get into the way it was sold to us, because I didn't really listen to a lot of the hype. Like, they had me at space exploration.
They had me with that trailer where you get in the ship and just fly out to space.
Yeah, it was really cool. I'm sure it's good. I'm sure it's better now. I wouldn't know. I just got kind of, burned.
Big update coming to it now.
Is there?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what's in it?
It's like the PC and Destiny. Wilson's probably not going to go back to it.
It's
you got burned once, and you're not going to give him a second shot.
I can't even technically defend myself as to why I uninstalled Destiny 2 from my PC. So you can't really technically come at me if I can't legally defend myself.
Wow. I think we should talk about that a little bit, Gary, while we're on the topic of being ashamed.
Stir that pot, Gary. Stir that fucking pot.
Well, we know the reason that he uninstalled Destiny is because we asked him to play Trials with us, and there's no other excuse.
Delete.
That was it. Sorry, guys. I had to make space on my hard drive.
I'm going to go see if maybe I can get in a Ninja's chat and play with him some Fortnite.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I really thought I had an opening right there. It's become one of the most entertaining Fortnite players ever. But it
is Ninja, Drake, Kim.com, and Wilson.
I only know who's that Wilson guy. I thought it was Sweet Dick Willie.
Sweet Dick Willie.
Right. if you don't change your PSN, the minute they let you change PSNs, if you're not Sweet Dick Willie 309, I'm not happy. Beasley, I saw Quantum Break come up in the chat. I know you played through that as well.
Thank you. Yes.
Was that another one that the idea, because that was meant to be
glowing
like a TV
review
show.
on Beasley's YouTube channel about this one.
I really wanted that game to be good. It was probably the first game besides Ori and the Blind Forest that I was like stoked for. It looked great. It looked like they were really building this world out and creating these characters. And when you only see like vertical slices and you hear what the development team is doing, and then they take years to create this masterpiece, and then you play it and you feel like it's again kind of an empty shell, that you don't like the direction that they went with the characters, with the plot, with the abilities, and then on top of that you got to kind of slow down this frantic gameplay when it was frantic to kind of watch a TV show that took you out of the element, out of the experience of the game, and kind of made you focus on sub characters and subplots that really didn't necessarily affect the main character and his plight. That really took me out of it. And by the end of that game, I was sitting there and Kate was watching me the whole time playing, and I was like, this shit has to end now. I can't keep, it has to be over. It has to be over soon. And so as soon as I beat that, I did a review on it, and it's still
and you
up on
gave it
YouTube.
a 10 out of 10. There you go. Fantastic game. Flawless.
Those are UK numbers.
What about movies? Do we have anything there? So I'm going to kick off and stir the pot.
Mm-hmm.
Harry Potter, right?
No,
So
come on. You have the
idea.
accent. What is it, Gary?
You got the
fiance-
accent, Gary.
my
That's your
You didn't
fiance-
go to
something.
Hogwarts? I thought everyone from the UK went to Hogwarts.
It's not what I expected. Good shit.
I got kicked out for sniffing panties. No, the fiance absolutely loves Harry Potter, right? So she's explained to me the whole backstory. Harry Potter as a concept, right? If you read about what it is and the shit that, not Harry Potter himself, but why he's the chosen one and all the backstory and what went down in his parents' generation, fucking amazing. Sounds like one of the best stories you ever see. And then you watch the movies and you're like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's such a poorly executed version of what the thing is. That might just be a movie thing. Maybe the books do it. But I find Harry Potter one of the most boring characters ever on screen. But the world around him, so good. So good. And it's been, and that to me is another one of these examples where I came into it and was really disappointed. But then I read around it and looked at it and thought, everyone else except the main character and the main story in this world is fascinating.
Wow,
But the person that we're looking at is so boring.
I actually
So
did
boring.
read the books when they were as they were coming out, and I enjoyed the books quite a bit. They were interesting, but the movies, I kind of agree with you, Gary. They never really captured my attention as much as.
Do you think that it could possibly have been that, Briar, we were older when the movies came out? I never read the books.
I wasn't that much older. The movies came out what? I don't think the
15
books
years
were all
ago?
A
written.
long time ago.
15 years ago.
I don't think the books were all written when they started making the movies.
Yeah, but I mean,
It
we're
wasn't
still
that far apart, the movies and the books.
Oh, really? Well,
just
so-
like-
No.
What you've got, like the whole like love triangle with Snape and the parents that you want to explore. You've got like Dumbledore and Grindelwald and the fact that they had like an undercover like relationship, and that's why they kind of fell out, and that's why Dumbledore secluded as he did and why he never checked. You've got this real, what you could make a really good TV drama, and I feel like the Fantastic Beasts movies are going that way and being more adult and more dark in their theme. But yeah, Harry Potter, man, it's like the biggest cash cow in the world, and it's so fucking boring. So boring, but the world is so good.
The movie series, to me, the movie property that is most disappointing to me has got to be the Star Wars prequels.
Oh, thank you.
The fucking Star Wars movies were like integral to me as a kid growing up. I adored those movies. They're not perfect movies, but they are iconic, and they were, without a doubt, my favorite movies. I mean, Han Solo was practically the person I had modeled my adult life after. Like, he was a fucking standing as for a father for a boy, growing up in a fatherless household. Like, he was everything to me. I love the fucking lightsabers. I love the religion of the Force. I loved Obi-Wan Kenobi. I loved Darth Vader, the Emperor. Fucking, I love the ice battle on Hoth. I fucking adored those
You sound
movies.
like a fan, man.
Oh my god,
Yes.
I was such a fan. Dude, the prequels were fucking garbage. Like, they were so bad, but no point have I ever been so upset with a filmmaker as when they explained midichlorians as being the source of the Force.
The Force.
They completely removed all of the mysticism in a fantastical world. You know, the religion of the Jedi, they just fucking shit on it, right? And I was just like, what the fuck?
Here comes big science ruining everything.
Dude, I was so upset because, like, I am not a religious person, and Wilson and Beasley will tell you that. Like, I tend not to get into, like, the mystical side of things, right? But in Star Wars, like, it was just such a fantastic world that I could completely, like, get behind because it was fictional, and I was okay with, like, the suspension of disbelief. I love the Force. I loved, the lightsaber battles. I loved everything about it. And even though they're not perfect movies, man, those prequels, and especially the midichlorian scene, was just like,
Phantom Menace, man.
It was
What about Jar Jar
obscene
Binks,
to
Brian?
me. It was
Did you
obscene.
Like Jar Jar Binks?
No.
No one likes him.
No. Yeah, they were horrible films.
They were bad movies, but can we all agree on one thing?
What?
Ewan McGregor, that he's awesome. I thought he played Obi-Wan Kenobi really good.
Great.
I liked his parts in the movies. I liked his lines and stuff. But, like, who was the kid? What was the kid who played Anakin?
I don't know.
Jumper.
Hayden Christensen.
Christensen.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant Little Anakin.
No, not Little Annie. Like adolescent,
Hayden,
emotionally conflicted.
Who doesn't like
Anakin.
sand because it's messy.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of his lines and stuff, like his lines were written
I didn't like
really...
him or Padme.
Well, here's the deal. When you have someone who's not good at reading their lines and then the lines are already bad, that kind of dominoes on top of each other, in my opinion. But, like, I loved every part that had Obi-Wan Kenobi in it. I thought Clone Wars was, like, the fight scenes were cool, but that was about it. But, like, I totally agree with you, man.
The fight at the end with Darth Maul was fantastic.
Yeah, it really was.
As long as it lasted.
But, like, that's it. It was, like, the fight scenes. And, like, even the whole, like, Jango Fett thing was kind of like, like, it was cool that they had a little nod to
felt
Boba.
shoehorned.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of it didn't do it justice or whatever. But, like, on the flip side, though, you come back with, like, something like Rogue One. Rogue One was probably my favorite.
Ooh, it was good.
Star Wars out of any of them. You know what I mean? But I
Rogue
agree.
One was about people. It was about personality. It was about the prequels felt like it was about politics. It was so dry and
Yeah, I think you're right there that Star Wars is definitely a concept that is better than the execution, at least to date. You know, because if you look at the prequels in general, great world, great ideas, poor stories, you know, in general.
Paris Hilton's sex tape, not a great watch.
For its time, it wasn't
overhyped.
Sengoff also put in The Hobbit, which I got to agree with, man. The Lord of the Rings movies were fucking amazing. And the fact that the same people were responsible for the Hobbit movies is like, what the fuck happened, man? These people all get hooked on heroin and meth? What the... Like, how did this happen? Like, how did this same people...
It's the Destiny 2 effect, Brian. They already had the audience. You know, The Hobbit was one of the biggest things ever. And so when they decided to re-release or release another trilogy, it was kind of like the Destiny 1 audience. They knew what they wanted, they knew what they liked, and when Destiny 2 came along, people just bought into it, not necessarily knowing it was a lesser product. And that's really what I think kind of happened there, Lord of the Rings versus The Hobbit anyway.
And yeah, I watched all three of the Hobbit movies.
I've only seen the first one. The first one.
That was the correct decision.
It ended with they were all going down a stream in some barrels, and I think that was where my view of The Hobbit ended. It was on TV. I lost interest and went off. There was loads of dwarves as well. The dwarves, all of them looked like dwarves except Richard Armitage, who looks like Richard Armitage. He didn't look anything like a dwarf, just like one dude.
He's just there amongst a bunch of dwarves.
It was so weird, man. Like, how did that happen? Why did they make that 3 movies when the book is like, it's like a pamphlet? You know, like you can get through it while you're waiting in line at the DMV. That book is that long, you know?
Yep.
I got a couple, and I want to go through them kind of quick because I got 3 in my mind. 2 of them are superhero films, but I'm going to start with Downsizing, Matt Damon's movie that came out at the end of last year. It's about a man and his wife who decide to do something called downsizing. And basically, if you have, $100,000 in your banking account, you can go and have a medical procedure and you get shrunk. And then when you're shrunk, you basically become a millionaire because that money transfers into a much lower cost for the same things. Like you could buy a candy bar.
True story.
I mean, literally, it was such an amazing idea. And watching the film and seeing the direction they took, because you want it to be kind of lighthearted. When you watch the trailer, it shows like a huge Absolute bottle, drinking vodka. You got a whole party around you of like 50 people, and you got this giant Absolute bottle sideways, and they got a cork on it, and everybody can get wasted off one bottle. That's how the money is spent, and that's how people stay rich. You live in a mansion that's about this big. So all that $100,000 could transfer into other things, and they took it into these crazy directions on politics, on religion, on the end of the world. And by the end of the film, I feel like they lost kind of the magic they had in the first quarter. And my entire family watched it together. We were super disappointed because of all the fun things they could have did with this film. This guy, he goes to have this procedure with his wife. You have to be shaved bald. All the hair in your body has to be removed. They got to take all the caps out of your mouth, any kind of metal or foreign objects, for you to be shrunk down. And when he wakes up, he's alone. And then all this crazy shit starts to happen, and then they lose the fun. And so I was super disappointed in that. And the 2 superhero films that I'm going to talk about, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but Suicide Squad and Batman versus Superman.
Not seen either.
You're a lucky dude.
They're both
I've
pretty
seen both.
disappointing.
Batman vs Superman, I feel like got panned harder than it really deserved. It wasn't a great movie, but it wasn't the worst Superman. Like I've seen some of those old Batman movies that came out. I mean,
some of those were,
bad.
some of those were pretty bad.
But I got to agree with you on Suicide Squad. Like, that was
Suicide Squad was worse than.
Well,
Batman
not as bad as.
Superman.
What was it? I think somebody actually.
What are you thinking? Not as bad as what? Is it another superhero film?
Yeah, somebody put it in chat, and I'm looking for it. I can't remember what it was. Sucker Punch. Not as bad as Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch.
And I was going to bring that up because from one Zack Snyder film to another, Sucker Punch for me, that was another idea of a really fascinating world.
Yeah.
Fascinating world. Great idea, great concept. When you saw the trailers, it was like these like kick-ass girls through history and how they're going to do it and how they're going to weave it in. And then it ended up that it was just like a
mental illness,
bland story about a, what was it? Like I don't even know. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was.
Look,
well,
the trailer billed that movie, and this is not my pick, but as kind of like a living anime. It looked like, these beautiful hot girls in schoolgirl outfits with swords fighting giant samurais made out of rocks, and they made it look so good. I was like, this is a must-see film, and then when you see it and you realize what's going on, it's just, mental madness. But the reason I didn't like the Suicide Squad film is because it had a group of anti-heroes walking through a city, and they basically didn't do anything throughout the whole film. They had, expendable enemies, kind of like NPCs running at them throughout the whole film that were meaningless. And at the end, they fought somebody from, what's that old dance show that came on in the 80s? Soul Train. This chick doing this the whole time, and they had to fight her. And I thought
it was the Mummy.
Yeah, well,
she kind of looked like the Mummy, didn't she?
That was just a horrible movie. And Batman vs Superman, Briar, I kind of got mixed feelings, and the reason I'm disappointed is because to me, Batman is my favorite superhero because he has the least natural power, but he's become one of the most powerful superheroes because of his mental capacity, and he's always been able to beat every member of the Justice League. He has a contingency plan if someone were to go crazy. He's just the smart Dark Knight detective, and to see him fight Superman, and they kind of throw logic out. Well, of course, logic out the door. You see Batman picking up Superman and throwing him like he has the strength of Superman, and all this other crap, and basically a story that fell flat. I just felt like everything Marvel's doing right, DC is doing wrong, other than Wonder Woman. And that movie, I wanted it to be good. I felt like this is DC's opportunity to come up against the behemoth of Marvel. And it's been just ass kicking that they've received on behalf of everything that's come out from Marvel. And I was just really, really disappointed. It wasn't a horrible film. I kind of walked out of the theater like, did I like that? Was it okay? Lex Luthor is this fucking weirdo. And I'm like, I don't know. And then you go home and you kind of reflect on it. And it was just a really shitty movie to me in the end.
I didn't mind it that much. I don't go into superhero movies with very high expectations, though. I think that.
You don't see Marvel movies very often, then.
I think I see them all one way or another. Either I bring my kids to them or we see them when they come out for home video. But I think, even the best of them are okay. With the exception, I think that the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie I thought was just fantastic.
Seen Logan?
Yeah, I saw Logan. I thought it was pretty good.
Logan?
I thought it was pretty good.
Yes, it was damn good.
I look at movies like
amazing.
Logan and Deadpool as sort of like the standard now of the type
Deadpool
of
was really good. Yeah, I like
superhero movies that I'd like to see that
Thor,
keep
Ragnarok?
me entertained and give me the feels. Like, for me, like, there's a couple instances because there's a couple that kind of like cheese the topic a little bit. But if I have to go with topic related where it was something that sounded good put into a movie, like the idea of it sounded good, the first time I'd ever been disappointed in a movie was, and I hate to be cliche, but Super Mario Brothers. As a kid, that world
was a rough one.
As a kid, that world sounded perfect for a movie. Make it happen. You could totally make this happen. And then what they gave us, was questionably nothing to really do with Mario Brothers other than the fact that it had their names in it.
It was a pile of shit. It was interesting story. I only learned probably a few months ago was that the two lead actors, John Leguizamo and Bob Hoskins, realized how bad the movie that they were filming was, so they spent the entire filming completely shit-faced drunk.
Yep.
So every scene you see them in, they're basically drunk.
They're basically buzzed as fuck. It's really good. But then something that like set the tone of a good movie and continued to be good movies were the James Bond films all the way up until GoldenEye. I would say I had seen every, you could argue Timothy Dalton. Sure, he's a little dry. He wasn't really a lot of people's favorite, but ultimately they did a good job of telling a story and keeping people coming back for what they love and enjoy. GoldenEye happens. We get Pierce Brosnan. Amazing. Awesome. GoldenEye was a fantastic movie. Spawned an amazing video game and a culture surrounding it. But then Tomorrow Never Dies came out right after.
Yeah,
and it was
some rough
fucking
years.
Awful.
Was that the one with the model who was playing a nuclear physicist? What's her name?
I think so.
Oh my God.
But it was just so bad. Like the gadgetry just got so over the top. Like
they really brought it back, though. I thought.
They did.
It's back for sure.
Not really to give a spoiler, but I don't even know which one it is. But one of the new ones, he goes to CQ and he hands him a gun, and he's like, "What? Were you expecting like a laser watch, an exploding pen?" He's like, "Get out of here." You know what I mean? Like he's like, "You don't get shit. You just screw up all the time. We're not giving you anything." And like it was, I thought that was a cool nod. Like, what do you think we're gonna give you a self-driving car or laser watch? And like
have you guys ever seen In Her Majesty's Secret Service?
No.
Yep.
That's like is that the black and white one?
No, it's not black and white. That's a weird one too. That's not, but In Her Majesty's Secret Service is it's a Bond film. I can't remember the name of the actor. Gary, do you remember the name of the actor who's in it?
Was that Timothy Dalton?
No, it was his only appearance in it.
George Lazenby.
George Lazenby.
Yep.
In it, Telly Savalas plays the bad guy. James Bond gets married.
What?
Yeah.
Serious?
The movie is the weirdest James Bond movie you've ever seen. It's tonally just so different. And also, it's like it ruins the canon of James Bond as this kind of
misogynistic womanizer.
yeah. I mean, kind of, but like kind of as this playboy, as like it's such a weird movie. It was after what's his name, Sean Connery. Oh my God, it's bizarre. It's worth seeing just because of the bizarreness of the movie and how weird it is. You don't even see Bond's face for like the first 10 minutes of the movie. It's worth seeing just because it's so different than any other Bond movie you've ever seen.
I used to be obsessed with James Bond. Like, I mean, when I was, 10, 11 years old, my mom asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up. I wanted to be a spy. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I wanted to do. I was like, great. And like, but I think I did try seeing that one and was immediately turned off because, like, as a kid, like if I didn't recognize the James Bond, like my interest was
Who's your
gone.
favorite James Bond?
I think we've talked about this, and I think this is one of the few things me and you have disagreed on since Arby's.
Arby's is garbage.
What are your thoughts on
Roger.
Arby's? You don't like Arby's?
Roger Moore is my favorite.
Roger Moore is a great James Bond, and I think he's underappreciated as a James Bond. He
I-
brought a level of comedy and like kind of fun to that series that was just not there before.
He was so suave.
Who's yours then?
Who's mine?
Mm.
I mean, I really like Goldeneye, man, and I really liked him, Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce, no.
As a James Bond, I thought he just fit that role so well, but unfortunately, he was in a bunch of fucking bad Bond movies. Like
Yeah.
the problem with the movies was not Pierce Brosnan, it was the writing and like some of the decisions around it. But I thought Pierce Brosnan was a wonderful James Bond. He had the athleticism, he had the kind of suaveness, but he also had the humor. Like he kind of hit all the right notes, but he was just in a bunch of really shitty fucking movies.
Pierce Brosnan was
dunno.
great. I loved him
I
in
feel
Mrs.
like
Doubtfire. That was great. He
I'm
was
gonna,
great.
I'm gonna be like heretic here and say that Daniel Craig is my
Me too.
favorite Bond.
Daniel Craig's
And
fine too.
for me, I just feel like if you lined up all the Bonds,
He
I
would
mean,
beat all their asses.
that's the thing. Who's going to win in a fight? And ultimately, these spies have to be able to handle themselves. You know, obviously they're suave and sophisticated, talk themselves out of trouble. But if shit goes down, you know, unless you're a woman, then you know Sean Connery's your man to slap a bitch, as we know. But like you know, everyone else, I think Daniel Craig's your man. If trouble breaks off, Roger Moore, you know, he's going to sidestep out to the gents and leave. Lazenby, obviously, we have never seen his face. We don't know who he is yet in the lineup. Yeah, Sean Connery, I don't know. He's just a different generation of Bond. For me, Daniel Craig
He's not afraid to
epitomizes.
slap a bitch. What's he afraid? You know, what's he gonna do to the other Bonds? You know what I mean? He might go.
I like Daniel
Listen.
Craig too. My only argument against him is my favorite would be that he's a different Bond. Like he's almost a different character than the
He
other
is,
Bonds are playing. You know, so you
He's
could
really
you could have
good.
made the 3 movies with him in it,
Mhm.
or is it 4 now? Is it 3 or 4
4, I
movies that
think.
he's in? 4,
I think it's
and they
four,
could have been
yeah.
named anything.
Yeah, but,
Here's the
all,
thing about-
all the Bonds, I feel like they've been different though.
I don't know.
think
They all
they've-
been playing the same character. I feel
Yeah,
like
like
Daniel
here's
Craig
the thing.
plays almost a different character.
Here's the thing. I feel like Daniel, the way that he portrays, like, because James Bond has always been reckless. In every one, they portray him as this. You're not doing it the right way. You're
fucking up.
You're
constantly,
costing us
yeah.
money. You're putting people's lives in danger. He's a constant fuck up. And I feel like Daniel does a really good job at
Does a
like
great job of that.
it's almost like he's chemically imbalanced, like he's addicted to the
Chaos.
making the wrong move, to the chaos. He
Yeah.
thrives in chaos. You know what I mean? I feel like he captures that image of Bond probably better than any other Bond. I just love Roger Moore, dude. He's so
Roger
good.
Moore was fun. He was a lot of fun. He made the most fun, especially when he was in America with that sheriff. I don't know. Those are fun movies, man. They're a different kind of movie, but they were fun.
To close off the topic, I'm going to hark back to something that Wilson said earlier with respect to the Super Mario Brothers movie, and that you added, Briar, around the cast knowing it was a bad movie. In hindsight, the late Bob Hoskins in 2011 was interviewed by The Guardian about his career and his life, and there were 3 answers that are most pertinent here. First being, what was the worst job you've ever done? To which he answered, only Super Mario Brothers. Second question, what was your biggest disappointment in your career? Super Mario Brothers was his answer. And thirdly, if you could edit one thing about your past, what would you change? And he closed off the interview saying, I wouldn't have done the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Oh my god! But it was so like it's so bad, but it's so bad that it's become good to me. Like
I don't know if
yeah,
I can agree with that.
100%.
That's a
100%.
shitty ass.
Guardian
movie.
Con,
Bob Hoskins
Briar,
said it.
we're sitting down, we're having some drinks, and at the bar we are watching Super Mario Brothers movie, and we're gonna MSTK the shit out of it. Mystery Science Theater the shit out of it.
For me, Wilson, the Spawn movie is so bad that it can be good. John Leguizamo's in that too. He's the
Man,
Ravager.
glowing
And that's-
career.
It's just really fucking crazy and just over the top. Michael, I forget his name, the Spawn character. over the top acting, just insane, really crappy makeup, horrible CG. John Leguizamo walking through the whole movie, crouched, bent his knees, just looking so stupid. To me, I can watch that and laugh. Mario is something that's been a part of, it's a part of my foundation. And to see what they did with that, this husband and wife team who just said, fuck whatever this was. We're going to do our own thing. We're going to turn Goombas into giants with heads this small. We're going to have a real fucking Jurassic Park raptor walking around, call that Yoshi. I'm like, this is just insane. The movie I hated it. It's still one of my
Titty shots in dinosaur nightclubs is all you need to know about that movie.
Yeah. Damn.
Was that song? Everybody get on the floor. Everybody do the dinosaur. You remember that part?
It was a tune. In the interest of time, guys, we need to quick fire the next 3 topics. I don't know if Revolver.
Shit.
I don't know if we have that capability.
That's going to be tough, man.
We got 5 minutes. We got 3 topics. So I'm going to put a hard stop on this. We got 5 minutes to explain and deliver the topic. Okay. Gaming as senior citizens. So we're the first generation of people that have grown up on games. We're still playing games now. We're too old to be doing it. We should know better, but we're still going. In 30 to 40 years, when we're sitting there in our retirement homes, just soiling ourselves, what are we going to be doing with our time? Are we going to be playing games? And if so, what are the games going to be? And then more so, population-wise, publishers are going to have this huge swathe of people who buy their games who are these dribbling elderly people. A game's going to be different to accommodate it? Are we all going to be sitting there in VR snapping panties in the harkening back to the glory days of our youth?
You will be.
Yes.
Or are we going to be playing Destiny 25, waiting for Bungie to finally figure out what the fuck the franchise is all about?
Gary's going to be in the nursing home snapping panties and be like, oh, sorry, I thought I was playing a game. He's going to really be snapping panties.
I think it's all going to be VR at that point. You're talking 30, 40 years from now. I think you'll be able to play games. I think you'll be able to import yourself as a character in many games, especially in a PC-centric ecosystem. Who knows, in that game, you might not have to move your body at all. 30, 40 years from now, it could all be controlled by your mind. You could project yourself as you were 20, 30 years ago, get in there and talk to a chick you used to know, and you guys both look like you did when you were 30 and just fuck around. I mean, to me, that's the future.
Trust me, I'll be moving my body in that game.
I'm sure.
Well, we know who Gary will be going to see. God Save the Queen.
Yes, God Save the fucking Queen.
Yes. As I get older, I've found myself more attracted to more cerebral type of things, right? Going from like hard rock to, jazz, going from games that are all about twitch reflexes to, games that you put a little more thought into. And I suspect that trend will continue. In fact, if you go on Twitch and you find like older gamers, which are on Twitch, you'll find them playing games, like farming simulator games or, games.
Ooh, PC Builder Simulator. I'm buying that.
Awesome. Games that give you a little bit more of a cerebral fix than just relying on Twitch all the time. And I suspect that's kind of the direction we'll go.
I think it's going to be hard to imagine what's going to be around 40 plus years from now. Because try to think of something that hasn't been invented yet. What would you invent 40 years from now? I think it's going to be less publishers and stuff like that and more developers. I think they'll sell scenarios or bits of software like programs, in a sense. Like, you're not buying a game. I think it'll be more
Total Recall.
I think it'll be more like make your own reality, so to speak. And I think that'll be perfect, because when I'm 80 years old and I can barely hold my head up, all you got to do is slap that fucking thing on me, and all of a sudden I'm 30 years old cruising through the universe in the Revolver Magic School Bus. You know what I mean? Like, I think it'll become less. I don't even know if the word game will be associated with it.
It'll be an experience, yeah.
I don't like the holodeck than what we're used
the
to.
holodeck.
Like not even necessarily. Like, I think it'll move from gaming to experiences. I don't think it'll be video gaming. I think it'll be video experiences. So for instance, if Gary wants to know what it's like to fuck as an NFL quarterback, you know what I mean? Like, he could plug himself into the consciousness of said NFL quarterback and not live through exactly what he's doing, but experience what it would be like to do that. I don't even know if it'll be called gaming anymore. I think it'll be called an experience.
That is settled. Moving on. Revolver decides the best holiday. Beasley, this is yours. Well, you've got 5 minutes to introduce and settle the topic. Go.
The best holiday it was between Halloween and Thanksgiving. Halloween because it's fun.
Tell us the topic. What are we doing?
It's a simple fucking topic. We're going to decide what is the best holiday, and it doesn't mean that we have to negate all existing holidays, but we're just going to vote.
We have to delete all other holidays. Come on.
Every other holiday is gone.
Uh-huh.
Shit. And we can only choose one. Now, Christmas would be the natural go-to.
Yeah, that's the right one.
Yeah, but Thanksgiving has.
That's the one that wins, right? Gary,
No.
you on board with Christmas?
No, I'm telling you why. The reason Christmas doesn't win is because
Christmas?
Thanksgiving.
I mean, we can
Christmas.
bend this topic out right now. We don't even have to let the Christmas.
You see how
Gary,
that
what,
fucking
Christmas?
This is filibustering shit.
Gary,
There's
Christmas?
3 of us.
Christmas.
Don't do
Get
it,
on board,
Gary.
Christmas.
Gary, don't agree with
I want to support diversity, and I'm going to say Kwanzaa.
Fuck.
Close enough. Close enough.
That's close enough. Close enough. All right. Revolver decided the best holiday is Christmas/Kwanzaa. Good topic, man.
Shut up.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's do it.
Halloween was a close second.
We don't even have Halloween here.
Oh, lame. I knew I didn't like you people.
You've lost your Thanksgiving turkey. You've lost the Easter bunny. You've lost everything. It's
It should
gone.
have been Thanksgiving
Christmas.
Because Christmas, you got to spend money. Thanksgiving, all your family comes to visit anyway, and you
You
get
don't
to
even
eat for
have-
free.
You don't even have a
Shit.
birthday anymore. No one knows how old they are. It's just done. Gone. You just exist. You're an age.
Blair fucked it up.
Next topic.
Christmas.
We're going to bang this out. We're going to be on time.
So Briar's got more topic now for the crew to design a games console. What are we doing? Why are we designing it? What do we have to do, Briar? Give us the brief.
All right, here it is. Design a game console. That's the topic, right? Imagine, okay, that Sony or Microsoft calls you up tonight and says, look, we don't know what to do with the Xbox 2. We don't know what to do with the PS5. Beasley, Wilson, Gary, what do we do? How do we make the next generation of consoles? We're dying over here. Beasley, go ahead, Wilson.
First order of business, I would say don't put fucking 5-year-old graphics cards in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beasley?
Well, I would say that I would move in the direction that Nintendo's going, but take it a step further and make it not only a portable and a home console system, but with peripherals you can slide onto the side. It can also become a headset for VR. Covers all the bases, and it has something equivalent to like a GPX Titan in there.
Crossplay.
What the? Wait, you're going to make a portable with a Titan in it?
Hey man, this is something equivalent. Something
All
very,
right,
very
so
powerful.
the ingredients for Beasley's console are a Titan, a cell phone screen, and magic fucking pixie dust.
Have you seen the handheld he runs around with? It's a Yobo. You could fit a 1080 Ti in
You
that.
sure could.
I'd love that if it's just
Fucking
a
shit.
briefcase that you've got. You just open up and there's
It's like
a
Iron Man, but you pull out a console. Yes.
battery
Let me
life
just
of
strap on my
15 minutes.
VR headset. Ah!
Beasley's handheld
Look
has
at all
a
the
battery life of 15 minutes. 15-minute battery life on that thing.
All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, look, I want an upgradable console. Instead of having the PS4 and the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One and the Xbox One S to the Xbox One X, I want you to design in upgradability to your console when you first introduce it, okay? So what I want is a base price of $500, the best you can make for $500 today. But the APU, the hard drive, memory, easily accessible by the user, modular perhaps, where it's just a click in, click out kind of thing. And then 3 years down the road, when you decide you need to upgrade this thing, I can buy 3 parts instead of a brand new console, right? I'd also like them to start including not just an HDMI port, but a display port. Like, what fucking year is it? Come on, give us a display port so I can hook this thing up to a
I
real
just found
monitor.
out what that thing is.
And I want support for keyboards and mice on consoles, like native
Yes.
support, like
Just
in
buy a
games.
computer, Briar, if you want a computer. Everything you ask for is a computer. God damn it! You want to be able to upgrade your GPU,
Oh,
and
you
your
figured
hard
that out,
drive,
did you?
and your mouse and keyboard. Stick with your fucking computer. We're talking
Right.
about a console here. You're not going to destroy every fucking console, turn it into a PC, and try to pretend like you didn't.
All right.
Standing
What
fucking
sold?
firm.
What
Shit.
sold the PS2 the low-key thing that sold the PS2 was the fact that that was like
DVD.
an undercover DVD player, right?
Yeah.
And what sold DVDs? Porn.
Porn.
God damn it, Billy.
So,
You always do
think
this
about
shit.
this. What's going to sell the PS5 through the handhelds, right?
Dick shaped.
No, I don't want
Oh,
anything dick shaped.
man.
What I want,
It's
I
gonna
want-
be it's gonna be a Switch with a fleshlight attached.
Well, you're on the right level, right?
I would never stop
Nintendo,
playing
Watching and listening, the
Switch,
topic
ever.
just died.
Switch would never
Nintendo
leave
have
my
The
worked
life.
sound of a
hard.
dead topic.
Nintendo have worked hard, right, with the HD Rumble Joy-Cons. You know, you can feel how many ice cubes are in that thing. Now, imagine what they could do with those HD
Rumble
Joy-Cons.
packs. Yeah, the
Rumble
HD Rumble.
packs.
Side
in a
note, Gary,
peripheral.
and I
Rumble
want to tell you
my
guys a
back.
true story, and Kate probably
Let
won't let
Gary
me touch
finish.
this.
What the
No,
fuck?
this has nothing to do with what he's saying.
Tell me a
Calm
true
down.
story.
Shit. I modded a PS3 in Ohio about I would say 7 8 years ago, and one of the homebrew apps turned your PlayStation DualShock 3 controller into a vibrator.
No,
It
that's
actually
That
not
wasn't
true.
a homebrew app. That was called Rez. It was commercially available.
it fucking works. So Gary, that isn't
What do you mean
outside
it
of
fucking works?
it works. I mean, I used this application before.
Oh my god.
I'm just telling the truth. I'm not a lying guy. I'm just telling.
Suddenly
it
the
was
joke
just-
got real.
It's
Basically,
s-
you know that a vibrator is like $10 in the mall.
hey man, I'm not saying
don't
there's
have
not
to use
vibrators in my house. And if my kids are watching, what's a vibrator? Any fucking way. I'm just
If you're in Ohio and you've recently bought a used PlayStation 3, give that
A
thing a wipe
used-
down.
Yeah. You might want to take it apart and soak the shell
You just
in,
turned
I don't
me
You
know,
might want to
That's
wipe that thing
bastard.
down.
you turned me into a nasty bastard, Brian.
I didn't
Could
turn
you
you into shit. You
imagine?
just told us you used to jerk off using your PlayStation.
What?
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
All right, that's the
DualShock
end of the story.
3,
then.
Jesus Christ. So you had a $50 not made for purpose vibrator that you then shared with your friends when they came over to play
Listen, the curve
fucking
of the DualShock
Marvel
3
vs.
is very,
Capcom.
it's very
I
sexy.
used to get
Amazing.
mad when I got the Blockbuster video controller. How bad would I have been if I went over to
I'm
Beasley's
never
house?
buying another used controller again.
Lucy, why is this X button so
Never.
fucking sticky? Why is it
I don't know.
why is there pubes on the analog stick?
I have no idea. Why are you fucking with my controllers? Touch your own shit. Shit.
Just don't.
Jesus.
Just do us a solid and just don't trade those in. There's not enough. There's not enough formaldehyde and other things
mean-
to soak those in to make it. It's not
Okay, look, controllers they're dead now, so they've been dismantled and destroyed and put into the compactor. It's been a few years that they worked, so there's no need. But I'm just telling you that idea was good, Gary.
You might
know,
get a little bit more life out of them if you use them for their intended purpose.
That was their intended purpose that night, Willie.
I mean,
Fair
I'm
enough.
thinking like a toilet roll holder, 2 Rumble Joy-Cons, and some sellotape is probably my invention there. That's
Oh,
a
that's
poor man's fleshlight.
yeah, it's a
This is
one-stop
not-
shop.
Does not come with Astroglide.
No, there's some chafe. There's going to be some chafe on that experiment. It's an alpha. It's a prototype. We're kickstarting it.
I'm leaving you guys some homework tonight. When you leave the show, go on Google and find the name of the application that allowed you to turn your PlayStation 3 through Homebrew, the controller, into a vibrator for women.
I just told you it's called Rez. You can buy it for PS4 too.
Does it work the same?
Yes.
The end result is the same, Beastly. That is, we're not looking for optimal performance. We're just looking for the end result here.
I think they're
Endgame.
currently
It's all about
developing
endgame,
Rez
though.
too.
It's fucking-
Yeah. Res Apex. That's gonna be cool.
I can't believe,
Use with
BC, that
them.
you modded a PS3 just
I
to
gave you
jerk
guys
off
a
with it.
piece of it, okay? I gave you a piece of it.
This is what we've learned about Beasley. 9 years ago, he modded a PS3 to jerk off. That was the extent of the story.
Makes me really wonder what he's modded his Yobo, why he loves that thing so much. no
Clamshell design, Willie. Clamshell design.
wonder that shell's so big. I get what you're
I have to get
doing.
the
And that-
3DS
Ridiculous.
XL. I didn't
And
get
that
the 3DS.
is what Revolver would do if Sony or Microsoft called us up and asked us how to design the next console. Thank you all for joining us tonight.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. That's right. Kind of forgot it was
Happy
Easter.
Easter. Go fuck like rabbits. Thank you guys for watching tonight.
It's been good. I think we've hit our stride there.
It's all decline from here.
Beasley, you gonna do some streaming this week?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
I
What do you?
absolutely
You
am.
said you're gonna do that on Saturday. Is that right?
It might be before Saturday. You know, my kids are all out of school for the week, so they're going to be here. I might do some tomorrow. Who knows? I'm thinking either I might just do Destiny 2. Get my character up to level so I can quit the game right when you guys need me, like Gary does when I'm playing with you.
For those of you that have been waiting with bated breath because you missed a week last week, unfortunately, we did not have the facts on hand. This week, the segment Cisco Facts returns with a parting gift for people there. Bit of trivia. He was the 5th housemate to be evicted from the British version of Celebrity Big Brother in 2010.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Tune in next week for your next Cisco Fact.
Thank
Thanks.
you, Gary. What else are you up to this week besides researching and possibly stalking Cisco?
Well, that's really going to be the majority of my week. If I have time for anything else, I'll probably be finishing off Far Cry. Hopefully catching up with the rest of you guys to play some more Destiny. Want to cheat on PS4 for a little while with the Sim, see if the update was good. But aside from that, no, just finding obscure games that are completely irrelevant and wasting my time playing them.
Wilson, what are you up to this week?
I'm gonna be going fast in D2. I'm
Mhm.
gonna be using snipers only in Fortnite.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna lie, I'm hoping to get into some Sea of Thieves with you guys again
Ooh,
at some
I would
point.
like
I'll
that.
play.
I
We
would
got to
like
do
that.
Revolver plays anyway. Just let me know.
Absolutely. So that's what I'm getting into. Video games.
I'm looking forward to actually starting Far Cry 5. I'll be streaming that all week. I'm going to be splitting my time up between some Destiny, some Sea of Thieves, and some Far Cry 5. Hopefully, I'll be able to meet you guys on those games, some of
Yeah.
those games, all of those games this week, and have some fun. So,
How
that's
many
gonna-
people can team up in Far Cry 5?
Two.
Just two?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck Far Cry.
Yeah. So that's gonna wrap this one up. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you follow each of these gentlemen on Twitter and have an amazing week. We'll see you next week.
Maybe.
Shit.
Gary hasn't killed me yet.